Because already, you took the law in your hand, and the law came back and punished you again. So my view is, in our oversight, we are not demanding and we are not acting, but we are recommending try to play a political game to satisfy the ordinary people who doesn't understand the law, because we are trying to play a blaming game. And those blaming games are causing us what you are telling us, that there are good laws, but they are not implemented. If they are not implemented, for me, I blame the National Assembly, not the executive.
Okay, thank you very much. I've heard you loud and clear, but still the vote is there, and the vote is very realistic, because the caliber of the National Assembly members also comes into play. There is it. The level of understanding that you have, how many of you in the House have that understanding? So this is also another area. And then when it also comes to a situation whereby the ruling party's candidates dominate, you know, at times you may want some things that are very, very much important for the well-being of the people, but it wouldn't work because you'll be blocked. One reason or the other. This is it. So thank you very much. I've heard you loud and clear. This is it. So let's go to the next section that I'm going to moderate with you. That is on going straight to the point. Question number 1. Talks about peace and security, whether peace and security is a concern of the constituency, that is Basse constituency. So Dauda, I would want you to dilate on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Musa. I think peace here is what we need to understand. Peace is not just the absence of war. We need to make sure that we understand peace, because when we talk about peace, we're talking about a very diverse area. And in that, personally, my point of view, and after going around the whole of Basse constituency, I realize that there are still areas of improvement. Although we've gone a long way in trying to make sure that the peace and stability of the constituency is maintained, but there are still loopholes. There are still areas that need to be improved on. Let's take, for example, we are just at the border here. We are bordering with Senegal. And this is still Basse constituency, although it's the Sabi ward, but it's still in the Basse constituency. And then we know what is happening around Fonyi, and we all know that our border areas are very porous. People can come in and go out anyhow without most of our people knowing. So this is why I would respond by saying that although significant improvement have been done, but we still have areas of improvement. Let's take, for example, just before the presidential election, we've heard of a news that a kid was kidnapped just between Kobakunda and Aluhare. That is a concern. That is a concern to the people, because if someone can be kidnapped between Kobakunda and Aluhare, how about those people living in Fas Bajong? How about those people living in Bangasia? These people are very, they are at risk. So this is why I would say, due to our porous nature of our borders, and due to the conflict in the southern area of Senegal, I think we still have to raise a red flag, because we've seen what is happening in Fonyi, and it's just along the same area. So we need to make sure that the peace and stability of the constituency is maintained. We need to make sure that anything that will compromise the peace and tranquility of our constituency is put to rest. So I would say, although areas, significant milestones have been achieved with regards to the security sector reforms and all those stuff, but there is still room for improvement. So that is my response on that part, because I believe there are still areas of significant improvement that we can work on.
Okay, thank you very much. The same question to you, Mr. Haji.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Dauda rightly mentioned, peace is not only in the form of conflict or security. Like, for me, I know that Basse here, people might be enjoying themselves because they say that there's no war. There's no gun shooting. But really, looking at Basse as a constituency, for me, food insecurity is hammering a lot of us. It's part of security. If you don't have enough food, you cannot have that peace of mind at home. And to have peace of mind is very important in somebody's stability, because it can create any kind of conflict among us in the society. So empowering our agriculture will definitely give us that advantage to be able to have food security. It's a great concern here today. A lot of people are going out of their houses. If they go to the market, they cannot have that food they're supposed to eat to give them the balance they have. And at the end of the day, it can create so many problems in our humanity. You can have vitamin inefficiency and other related matters that can give you as a human being the lack of development you needed. So for me, I believe as a constituency, we need to improve on our food security to be able to have the peace and stability among ourselves. Coming in terms of physical security, as he's talking about, we are living just close to porous borders, and we all had the conflict in Casamas. Are we prepared to be able to defend ourselves here? Are we prepared to protect our sovereignty? Are we prepared to put measures that can mitigate similar incident happening in Fonyi not to replicate itself in URR? This is the question each and every one of us should ask. Yes, we might be living in peace today, but are we in peace when our neighbors close to us are not sleeping in their houses peacefully? That means that we are also not in peace. So what are we putting in place today? What are we putting in place to be able to continue enjoying the peace that we have? Are there plans that government is putting in place? So for me as a National Assembly aspiring candidate, I am really calculating. Oh, thank you very much.
So now we're going to make a shift in the communication language for some of our audience here, the convenience, the friendliness of our audience here. And then I have to agree with two of you which language you people can best express yourself, the local languages so far. With Mandinka, if it is okay with you.
Ask the audience too.
Yes.
I have an objection.
Yes.
I think this platform hosts a lot of people that can understand English language.
Okay.
My observation is they continue speaking English language. At the final end of their remarks, they can speak any local language they wish.
Okay.
Putting into consideration all those things that they want to say.
Okay.
In the local language.
Okay.
But they continue to speak in English.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. Do you have any follow-up questions for them?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. I will start with Dauda Nenegale Jallo. And this question is a straight question. I'll not be beaten by the bush here. For example, you have been elected as the National Assembly member. For this constituency here, might be given $1.2 million or $3 million. Come and join NPP. What will be your react?
Okay, thank you. I think that question is how would I say, Basse constituency is not for sale. And this is not my wish to come here and try to bargain for Basse constituency. That is not it. And I am not here today as 𝐍𝐚𝐿 because a group of young people believed in me and then approached me and told me about the problem that we have in Basse constituency. So no matter what, we've been approached by many political parties for us to vie under their ticket. But what we told them was, we are not going to bargain for Basse constituency. There is no bargaining. We've been called, they told us so many different things, but we are not taking it. This is not about me. I could have taken it, I could have gone, I could have gotten a job, I could have gotten a scholarship, I could have gotten so many advantages. But this is not about me now. This is about Basse constituency. Because when people have trust in you, you dare not to disappoint them. So I will never and ever take money for Basse constituency, never.
You have the same follow-up question. You have the 14. Haji, the same follow-up question?
No, I have a lot of questions.
Lot of questions, right?
Okay, let me pass it to him. Okay. Let him pose his questions to you, because this one is directed to 𝐍𝐚.
Yes, the next question to 𝐍𝐚. Two questions for 𝐍𝐚 and two questions for Haji. So the next question will be, you talk of electricity, water, and you are not, in the Gambia I think we have this notion, if you don't support my party, I will not help you. How will you penetrate the National Assembly to convince so that your people will have support from the government? Because you are not a candidate for NPP. How will it be possible for you to bring those development in this region? What are some of the procedures will you be taking?
Okay, just set all your questions.
Yes. And the next question to Haji, you talk of food security, to provide food for all. How will you engage the Ministry of Agriculture to help you? You are in a different party with the NPP, UDP. So how will you be able to get them on track so that all your wishes will be answered in this region, in your consequences? So the second question will be, as we have witnessed for the first regime there, the first term, some of the UDP members have endorsed to join the president. Will you be the same of kind?
So first, 𝐍𝐚, you have a second question of water and electricity.
Yes. Okay, I believe if we have a house party here, and we are 10 in number, and the cake is placed on the table, it's your effort that will give you a slice of the cake, because it's supposed to be everyone's. So, getting to the National Assembly is a place where we have the national cake. It depends on the individual. It depends on the approach that you have taken to make sure you get what belongs to you, because this is something that belongs to you. So if it belongs to you, there's a way you get it, and it's just to go get it. And in getting it, because we already have the cake there, just go get your slice. Use your tricks, use your means, use your avenues, use the people you know to make sure that you get what your people want. So in getting to the National Assembly, it's an area where we have everything for everyone. So this is why it's important for people to understand that the presidential election and the National Assembly election are two different elections. Voting for a particular political party in the presidential election does not mean that you need to or you should vote for that political party in the parliamentary election. Let's make sure that we get the most competent individual to be able to go and grab what belongs to you. Thank you.
So I think you can recall your two questions.
Yeah, job insecurity and whether I will cross carpet. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Balde. Anyway, food insecurity, I think that's your first question, right? how will I address it? Will I be a beggar to the Minister of Agriculture? If I can understand. Because if I'm not in support of the government, means that I have to beg.
I'm not using the word beggar.
No, I am the one who sees it like that. The way the statement comes means that if you don't have the same, or if you don't share the same political party with the government, you cannot have the development that your people deserve from them. That is how it is directed. I'm not a beggar as a National Assembly member. We don't beg government. That's why I cited the Constitution, for all of us to know that a National Assembly member is not a beggar and is not answerable to any minister. In fact, the ministers are answerable to the National Assembly. And that is why I say that I'm not going to recommend. I'm not a recommender. I'm going to demand the needs and the wills or the aspirations of my people, what they want. This is what I'm going to take to Parliament and convince other assembly members to know that what is affecting my people could also affect their people. So we need each other's support to deliver for our people. We don't need any minister's assistance. This is taxpayers' money. Tax and non-tax. This is what is collected to pay those ministers. And that is what's supposed to be used to return something meaningful to our people whom I am representing. So being in the same party with the minister or opposing the minister's party does not mean that that's supposed to be affecting the development aspirations of our people. If that is the case, then I and you will keep suffering because we are not going anywhere from here. So my stand is to have food insecurity. The policy that I'm going to do in my oversight to be able to direct government, it is to go back to the 2022 Maputo Agreement, whereby all development specialists, researchers, well-knowledge people, they sat down and looked at Africa. They said any African government who needs a serious and meaningful development, you must commit yourself budgetary annually. In your budget, you must commit 10% of that national budget to agriculture. And that is going to give us the kind of irrigation system Mr. Jallo is talking about. That is going to create the environment to be able to produce and add value to our products, for our people to depend on what we grow and then we eat what we grow. For our economy to be able to use that sector to empower our economy so that we will not be an economic dependency country. So I think you should allow me, because I'm not done. You should have allowed me to go. The second question, no, I did not answer your second question. I wanted to, I'm coming to the second question.
How will you convince the Ministry of Education to help you on your plans on agriculture?
No, I already answered that. I'm not there to convince him. I'm just there to cross-carpeting. Okay. That one I demand. I don't convince. I'm not a cross-carpeter. That is why when the president came to Alunhare, he specifically mentioned me. That the 3 years Jordan spokesperson, choosing him is the most annoying thing as far as he's concerned as a president. You know why? Because if he made a promise, I will follow that promise to be delivered for my people, for the betterment of our country. That is why he chooses me. So I'm not somebody who is cross-carpeting because of money. If it is money, the ruling party today, they know, they are watching me. They offer me anything that they can. But I am not for sale. And if I'm not for sale, means that the people of Basse or the people of the Gambia are not for sale. I cannot use my selfish interest to get heavy my pocket and put Basse into the suffering that we are today. I'm not that type of person, so I'm not a cross-carpeter.
Like, when I ask question is 3 minutes. When you answer that question, the other question is 3 minutes. Do you understand? So, you understand it like that? Okay. The first question is 3 minutes.
Yeah, and the second. Yes.
So, when the first question allowed, the 3 minutes allowed to have to listen.
Yeah. Thank you for it. Thank you for it. So that is it. I think it is understood. Let all of you be relaxed. If Haji should cross-carpet, it was very hot when I was calling the coalition government to respect their agreement with the people and call for elections in which they are not going to be a contestant. They offer me a built house, a finished built house. I rejected. They came up to my house at Sareprasu. They offered me 2 million with a brand new pickup. They are watching me live. I rejected. Though I am poor, but money is not everything. My integrity and my morality are more important than money.
Okay, thank you very much. The two aspirants we have before us here, and they are definitely doing good. So the next question coming for both of you is, what are your track records vis-a-vis you, Dauda, and the constituency people? What have you done with them, before aspiring? Thank you very much.
I wish this 3 minutes would have been 10 minutes, or 50 minutes, or 1 hour, 2 hours, so we can discuss about this. But then let me just try to summarize it. Dauda Nenegale Jallow is someone who is known to be an individual who has been standing for the people of not just Basse constituency, but every rural resident in the Gambia. Going back to 2012, when things were kind of new to so many places, Kairaba Youth Association was an association that I was a founding member. We have actually set the pace for associations in Basse constituency, and those at the helm of affairs know about this, because Kairaba Youth Association has actually been advocating for women empowerment. Kairaba Youth Association has always been there to sensitize people on harmful practices against girls and women. So we've actually been doing that since 2012 to date. We've actually been advocating and trying for people to understand. Getting to anti-corruption, I think most people here know me as an anti-corruption advocate. I've actually been the Follow the Money chapter lead in Basse. We've actually done so many investigative things about alleged corruption activities in there. So we've actually been doing that, and we've actually been advocating for people to get what they want, because mostly rural communities are actually marginalized, and most of the projects that they write for these communities is like, before it gets here, almost half of the money is gone. Now what we've been advocating for is what belongs to the people has to go back to the people, and in full. I want to emphasize this, in full, because we don't want to make anything, any project that comes to our constituency, half of it is done. Sometimes even building materials, they buy it in combo. Are we not having businessmen here? We are having businessmen. If a project is road for people of Sabusire, and there's a shop in Sabusire that they can buy from, why wouldn't they go and buy it from there? Because they are empowering the people. We've actually been doing that. I've actually been working with political organizations. We've actually been going around, year in, year out. Every Ramadan, we go to communities from Dabakunda down to Sabusire, to Watafsir. We go and give them rice, we go give them sugar and everything. This is why I said I wish we had 10 or more minutes. So, thank you.
That's very we could not give you a risk.
Yeah.
We risk our 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
3 minutes. So, we can pass the mic to Mr. Biswari. The same question for you. What have been your track record? I mean, what have you brought for the people of your constituency, social benefits, before your declaration of intent to become a National Assembly member of Basse constituency?
Thank you very much. I'll just summarize it so that people will understand. After the 2016 election, we created a forum called the Bunati Coalition 2016. That is 4 villages. They are close to each other. We call them and then put them in that political platform to change their mindsets for supporting the then dictator and making them believe that supporting the coalition 2016 will bring better to their communities. After the elections, Barrow won. I changed the group with a consultation with the stakeholders in the communities, elders, alcalos, and everybody, that politics might divide us. Now, since we achieve our goal, putting Barrow in place, let's change and remove the politics, put it as a development. That can bring us together and give the community a meaningful achievement, which we did. We constructed a bridge costing almost $2 million, and that is why 𝐍𝐚𝐿𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐞 Jallo and others are now passing to go to Sare without suffering. In 2018, YEP project, when it came out, I facilitated it and helped almost over 50 young people crisscross in Basse and Sabi ward, helping them to get that $45,000 youth empowerment project. Before, as Dauda mentioned, those kind of projects were not known to the rural communities, especially the remote villages. But through me, some have animal husbandry, poultry, etc., including women's kafos. In 2019, in partnership with my councillor, we worked to go to YEP headquarters in Banjul, that is in Kanifing. We spoke to their coordinators and then their heads. They were able to provide us with 25 youths, which they trained and gave them money. They are in Sabot here. In 2020, in partnership with some of my colleagues, including the Regional Youth Council, we initiated projects that has raised and increased the economic achievement of some youths around here. Myself, I was a beneficiary in that, achieved almost over $100,000 each youth. That has given us the ability to operate poultry farms and animal husbandries. So those and similar projects came under my initiative to be able to help people of my constituency. And I've also been a ward development secretary. I provided water, that is a clean drinking water, for Sare Musa, Mampatel, Baniko Ismail. Also, under that same double DC, through area council, we constructed a bridge costing $4.1 million. So I was there before today. I delivered, I think, before today. And I will continue to do so, because I think it's not enough as of now.
Thank you very much. I don't like the statement I, but we.
We, sorry.
Yes,
We.
exactly.
Yeah.
You were there as a secretary of the ward. Is the ward delivered?
And the program officer,
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much for that.
And thank you for the
Yeah, exactly. So next, at least, we're going to ask you some of these issues. How do you see them in the Basse constituency? And that is when we come to the area of education, TVET, sports, healthcare system, you name it, and politics and governance in the constituency. It's a whole lot of things, so you need to give us your viewpoints on that. How do you see all those issues in the constituency?
Okay, like I said, the 3 minutes is just too little to discuss about almost 4 different very important areas. But then, let me just get a gist of some of them. Looking at education, there has been a tremendous success in URR. In most of the areas, we've got schools built. We've got some of the equipment, because we still have areas of improvement. But when it comes to technical and vocational education, I think the concentration is just on one constituency. GTMI, inside training, the college, are all in Basse constituency. I think we need to diversify the education, especially this technical and vocational training. When we have a technical and vocational training center in Sabi ward, that would also help the people of Sabi. So, although a lot of progress has been made, but still there are areas of improvement. So when it gets to, on the side of education, that's it. On the side of health, because I want to rush, on the side of health, government is actually concentrating more on tertiary healthcare. And that is actually disturbing the people, especially those in the rural communities. Because when you look at the tertiary healthcare system, it's just at the extreme top of the hierarchy. So I think we have to make sure that we go in for the primary healthcare system, because with that we will be able to do active surveillance, we will be able to monitor our borders, we will be able to do so many things, most especially the non-communicable diseases, because these are the diseases that are actually killing a lot of people without detecting. Because when you sponsor more on the tertiary healthcare system, you are ignoring the primary healthcare system, and that is actually affecting so many people. So when it comes to health, we need to concentrate more on the primary healthcare system so we can avoid most of these non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, because they are on the rise, and most of our people are dying right now are mostly related with these conditions. So we need to make sure that the primary healthcare system is strengthened, because that is where everything begins. You cannot wait until a problem happens and then you try to solve it at that level, try to cure it. But before it happens, try to stop it at where it should, because we know our borders are porous, and then anything that comes can come and then enter. This is why we have a very vibrant public health care system that is actually trying to make sure that they strengthen this surveillance system. So let's concentrate on the primary health care system.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nene.
Can you repeat it for me? Can you repeat it for me?
Issues on education,
Health.
in the constituency.
Yeah, starting with the education system in the constituency here, I think we need a lot of improvement. Schools are built, but the quality of education here, I think somehow is still lacking, especially in the up or the remote schools which are in the villages. Teachers are not coming, or qualified teachers are not coming to the other schools in the remote areas due to some lack of incentives. They are choosing the towns and the cities and in the capitals than in the remote areas. So I believe we still need improvement, and government need to do more, or the National Assembly need to do more demand for the government to deliver in terms of education. To go to health, our health system for Basse constituency is very poor. Looking at Basse has a general hospital. You only have one general doctor there, no specialist. So all what they can do is to refer. There are certain conditions when they come to the hospital. They need a kind of special attention. The person might lose his or her life before arriving to the proper caring, that is advancing. So I think at that part also, the National Assembly, the incoming one, they need to do more for our government to equip these hospitals to be able to have the kind of healthcare system we want for the people of this region. And also he's talking about the primary healthcare system, which are supported. Primary healthcare system is supposed to be empowered, because there are some kind of diseases, for example, like the non-communicable diseases. If you don't have that doctor who permanently stays at those areas, some people might be killed with silent stroke, why they don't even know. So if you don't have a doctor who is there caring, just like let's go back to the Jawara area, there might be not a full doctor, but a qualified nurse can be like at Sarepirasu, who is having paracetamol and other areas that he can take care of the people of Sare Prasu before they come to Basse here. That might reduce the burden on the hospital at Basse, so that they can take care of more dangerous diseases, rather than having only a headache that can be taken care of a simple nurse coming to congest the hospital for the people who need serious attention. Coming to sport, I think Basse has a constituency. Definitely, we have talents, but our sport is not promoted. A sport that is not being marketed, the person who is in that sport will not have any benefit in his or her sporting. So we need more sponsors, and government, especially the Ministry of Youth and Sport, need to do a lot if they want to improve the general sporting of the Gambia. Because looking at the budget that is allocated to youth and sport, time is up. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Time is no longer on our side. We have a late start, and the issues are so much, but I think we are also now getting close to the end of the program, because the section we are left with so far, exactly. And I want to do this.
So that is it. Thank you so much, Mr. Musa, for taking us through the second section. That was about the topics that we also have for them, that is peace and security. And we also have heard from them, they have talked about agriculture and economy, education and TVET, healthcare and social well-being. Also, they talked about politics and governance, which they all have elaborated on. And the last but not the least, that was on sports. So now what we will do, because we have started late, we will give chance to the audience who are present here to have at least 5 minutes to ask questions about what are their doubts, what do they want these two gentlemen here to clear for them. So we will give you 5 minutes. If anyone is having a question or you have already jotted down your questions, you can, just 2 or 3 people at least. So because we are out of time and these two have to attend other activities, I believe. So what we will do now, we will not waste much time. We will just open the floor. I have seen Mr. Mohamed Cisse raising his hand there. So we can give you the first guy to send in your answer. Sorry, Coxon, sorry. No, wait. If you answer, then I will ask.
I have for someone who was speaking about draconian laws, only which as a layman is a god. I want you to be specific. What do you think that is affecting people of Gaza? Dauda, you talk about personal achievement. Why do you resign if the rumors are true? Why do you resign from Cairo? Because there is a lot of rumors circulating in town. General questions. If you are elected, where do you live? And why do you select that settlement? That is for 2 of you. And then finally, the last general question for 2 of you. Do you believe, like Haji, do you believe Dauda can represent us? Dauda, do you believe Haji can represent us? If yes, why can't you guys join?
Absolutely. I like that question. I think there will come a point where they will also have the opportunity to ask each other the questions. I think that is been said in the, but this question also is important. So now we will start with Haji, as he asks about the laws. I think you heard his question that I cannot remember, but you can get into answering the question for him.
Thank you, Mr. Cisse. If I said draconian laws, these are laws that stifle the decent views and opinions. Among them, for example, if I'm in this institution here and I've seen corruption in my own department, I wouldn't be able to expose that corruption because there is a law that says if you are among those workers, if you do see that corruption killing the country, you must be silent. If you said it, you are sacked out. That is one. It's a draconian law. because it is against me and you and the country at large. The advancement and the fight against corruption cannot be achieved without the one who is there telling you what is happening there. That is one. It's affecting Basse and Gambia in general. Number two, there is a law that says that if I see the government doing something that is going against my own rights or the rights of the people of Basse constituency, as a group or as an individual, I cannot go out to protest against that particular practices if I did not take the permission from the police, which is also very wrong. You go to the Public Order Act, you find it there. The Constitution says that it is your right to protest or demonstrate, and it's telling you subject to somebody saying, yes, go. What about if the person doesn't like? That grudge will kill you, but you cannot sort it out. If you sort it out, you go to mile 2. It needs to be changed. Because as I said, and as one of the moderators says here, it is the government of the people, for the people, by the people. We choose people to serve us. If they serve us and they are not doing the right thing there, thank you. I hope you understand.
That is it.
Okay.
We still keep on the. I think we have 2 questions for you. There is the other one is about. Then
Your second question, please.
No, then let's bring it down. No, wait. Mr. Haji, let's bring it down.
Okay.
Yeah. So your question is about.
He's saying, why did I resign?
Why did you resign? Yeah. No, but they understand.
Okay, 2 minutes per question, yeah?
Yeah, for the question from the audience.
Okay, per question, yeah? Okay, he asked 3 questions. Why did I resign from Kairaba? Why not merge if I think he can be able to represent? I think those are the questions. And can Suare represent me? I think these are 3 questions. So coming to the first one. Kairaba resigned. It's a news to me right now. I've never heard that I've resigned from Kairaba. I've never written any document to say I've resigned. What happens mostly is when you start organizations, it is succession. You trying to groom leaders. So in trying to groom leaders, you don't have to overstay. We prepared Kairaba for the young people. We started in 2012 when we had nothing. We were able to get a land. We acquired our own land. We've had our old poultry farm. We have sheep fattening project. We have ministers. We have the government officials come to visit us. That is a big achievement for me personally, because we tried to get these things to motivate the young people. Now they are motivated, we are giving them the chance to lead. I've never resigned, we are giving the chance to the young people to lead.
Good. Thank you for that. And now we will come back to Mr. Haji. That's his second question for you. He said you will repeat your question again.
He said, if I believe that Dauda can represent me.
Yeah, that is part of the question.
No, I think he's asking where are the people.
Where do you choose your settlement?
Exactly. That's what he's asking.
Where do I live or where do I choose to live?
Exactly. Where, not your settlement right. What is your, let me say this. After elected, where do you think that you will stay for living?
Exactly.
Thank you very much. I'm a farmer. I choose to do farming and nowhere but Sare Pirasu, especially when representing the people. Before I represent, I go to Combo, but when they come rain season, I come to Sare Pirasu. So if I'm representing, I choose no place but Basse constituency is going to be my base. I hope you understand.
Do you only do that seasonally? Because if you're talking about farming, then that is
I'm telling you base. Basse constituency is going to be my base. Here is where I'm going to live. Did you understand? Temporary, I could go to Combo because there is where the National Assembly is. You cannot represent the people in this house here. You must go to Combo.
Dauda, the same question for you.
For me, I think I know no place apart from Basse. So when I'm elected, I will live in Basse because I have no other relatives outside of Basse constituency apart from the family that I have in Kabakama. So when I'm elected, I go nowhere. I'll stay in Basse constituency here unless and until I have an official engagement to do in Sarakunda, then I will go. But apart from that, we will have an established office here. We will have an established committee that will be working with the communities. So we're going nowhere. We're staying in Basse constituency.
Good. We move to Hajit for the last question that Mr. Mohammed asked. That is, do you think Dawda is the best candidate for Basse constituency?
It is not.
If yes, why is it that you took that of mine?
It is not. Do I think you, the audience, know who is the best candidate? Not myself. You, the audience there, you know I and Dawda who is the best candidate, and that is the most important. Sorry.
You can tell us. No, wait.
You sorry? I did not get you.
Come to the audience, please. Do not distract their intervention. No problem.
Yeah.
We can go do that.
My position is, I have different ideas with Dawda, just as we are hearing us. But the best person to know that who is the best representative, it is you, the audience, not me. Come in.
Do you believe Dawda can represent us? If yes, why can't you mark? This is the question.
I'm not saying that I did not believe that Dawda can represent us or not. I said, you listen to us because of ideas and our programs. And those ideas and programs, as you are listening to us, they are different. I'm not saying he cannot represent us. He can, of course. If you believe that he can, he can't. That is why I'm saying that it is left to you to choose who can represent us. For me and Dawda to be one, it is left to you. Any winner among us, we will always be one.
Anyways, I think Dawda, the mic is yours. You can also answer that question. Do you think?
Yes, I believe everyone who showed intention to lead your people, there's a reason why you said that. And everyone has something. We are 5 in number. I might bring 1, someone might bring 5, someone might bring red, someone might bring pink. It is all geared towards developing Basse constituency. And anything that will be for the betterment of Basse constituency, myself and those that are behind me will actually support any agenda. Because let me just reveal this here. We've actually consulted most of the candidates here in Basse constituency. And we've sat with them. We had dialogue with them. Because this is not about me. This is not about Suare. This is not about Keba Bande, not about Yusufa, not about Sekuba. This is about our Basse constituency. I believe each of them has something to offer. But it depends now on the electorates to see whose ideas and policies match their wishes and aspirations. So if we win, we will work with anyone. But before winning, because there's no permanent enemy, no permanent friend, we are ready to work with anybody. And if my wishes can be guaranteed, I wish all the four opposing candidates to work together and then make sure we get Basse constituency. This is my wish.
Well, I think that is all over for you. Now we take another party here. I think I saw Bylaws hand first before you. I think I want to Bylaw before I continue. So, that is it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I wish to commend the aspirants for honoring this gesture, including Yusufa.
Yeah, so, but please, let's make sure that not to make it the way Mohammed made it, but to 3 questions. What are the deliberations? So we want each to bring 1, please.
Yes.
Just let's do it that way to avoid wasting time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to earmark that this is historic, and this is best practice as far as our democracy is concerned. I have a strong argument to make that if anybody that is vying to represent the people and is eager to represent them
but is reluctant to answer to the call of the people do not deserve to represent those people. They are all political aspirants. They need the people. Let them come here and appear and honor our invitation. This is what we need to cement in URR. Politics of intimidation is over. We need to have that authority. The power is with us. And that is why I want to respect them and thank them for coming. However, the National Assembly is speaking in a language that is not popular to most of the electorates. We are speaking English language there. We have most of our people here who do not understand English language, written or spoken. How do you want to bridge that gap as National Assembly members?
Thank you. I think the question is very good.
Both of them.
Thank you.